こんにちは、国用デザインアワードの佐藤です。この度はご視聴いただきありがとうございます。国用デザインアワード2022応募に関するご説明をさせていただきます。
The information will be divided into 3 items. First, an introduction to the Kokyo Design Awards. Second, we will cover the application guidelines for the Kokyo Design Awards 2022 and include an explanation of the theme. And third, we will hear from last year's Grand Prix winners, Mila and Erlen, about their experience from last year's competition, how they interpreted the theme, and how they worked on a presentation sheet and models. First, I would like to introduce the Kokyo Design Award. There are 3 features that form the Kokyo Design Award. First is creativity and co-creation. You may know Kokyo as a stationery brand that makes canvas notebooks and stationery items. But actually, we also design offices and produce the furniture that make up office spaces, including those for remote workers, and provide related services as well. Through our portfolio, we support people's working, learning, and living environments. There are 2 things that we value in carrying out our extensive business. One of them is be unique. This does not mean that Kokyo itself is unique. This is our corporate philosophy to make the world a stage where more diverse and highly individual people can shine by supporting their creative activities through our products and services. The other one is design with empathy. We are a manufacturer of products that everyone is familiar with and anyone can use on a daily basis. It's for this reason that we want to continue maintaining an attitude of design with empathy, in which we emphasize with the desires and challenges of the people who use them and create things with them. The Kokyo Design Award was founded in 2002. This contest for product design was started as an initiative of our Design with Empathy philosophy to better reflect voices of users in our products. Today, with 18 contests held, it has grown as an award with thousands of designers and students participating from more than 50 countries around the world. Through commercial launches of product design entries, we value the opportunity for design with empathy this contest creates. The award also aims to continue serving as a stage where entrants can fully demonstrate their creativity. The second feature of Kokyo Design Award is the commercial launches of the award-winning entries. Since its inception, the goal of the Kokyo Design Award and its biggest feature is the commercial launch of award-winning entries. Our goal is for Kokyo, together with the winner, to bring to the world these award-winning entries as commercial products. 20 past entries have been presented as actual products, including Kadokeshi, Nameless Paints, True Measure, and Notebook for black and white writing. When we turn entries into products, we don't merely reproduce them as is. We think about their marketability, tackle the technical hurdles involved in development and production, and sometimes make changes flexibly while staying true to the design concept. That is how we turn the designs into products that can be sold and experienced by many others. The process of turning entries into products is undertaken together with the creators. They participate in meetings about the direction and specifications for commercialization and accompany us to the production sites. The winning entries often garner further appreciation after they've been turned into products, winning product, design, advertising, and other awards in and outside Japan. The third feature is the unique theme that is set every year. Each year, the jury and Kokyo set a theme based on the social background and what they want to think about through design at that time. During the judging process, how the theme was understood and captured in your design are also taken into account as assessment points. Judging is performed twice. In the first round, judging will be done based on a presentation sheet submitted during the application period. Around 10 finalists will be chosen to advance to the final judging. the finalists will be asked to prepare a model of their designs and give a presentation in front of the judges. How the entrants interpret the theme will be an important point during each of these processes. Now we'll explain the entry guidelines for Kokyo Design Award 2022. The theme this time is unlearning. We've prepared a body copy to convey our message behind the theme. Please give it a read. You may all have some doubts about the society that surrounds you now, which make you wonder, is this right? One example is the global environmental issues. They're not unrelated to the huge typhoons that cause significant damage every year, the garbage we throw away every day, and the power we use every day. Or you may recall situations that, despite often seeing slogans claiming diversity is important, the reality is that nothing has changed. Unlearning means critically reviewing what you have learned as right and redefining your values. We've set unlearning as the theme for this year's Kokyo Design Award. Our belief behind this is that now is the time to face the social issues that have become clearer after experiencing the pandemic. We would like you to think about the true affluence in the next era, what it is by broadening your horizons and looking at the bigger picture of society as a whole. Then question the common sense and things that we all take for granted that have established today's society. If you look at things from different perspectives, you might be able to see things differently. It might also shake your values about what is right and what is beautiful. It might show you a solution for things where you felt something was wrong. And finally, put that into design for a product. You can also come up with a product that will lead to the unlearning approach itself, as well as one that's born out of your own unlearning approach. Either way, we'll follow our approach last year and choose works focusing on the details of product design. Eligible entry fields will be any stationery, furniture, or tool used in working, learning, and living scenes. The judging criteria for the design will be the interpretation of the theme, the level of completion, and its potential to become a product. The entries will be comprehensively evaluated according to these three criteria. Now regarding who can enter this contest. Corporations, organizations, individuals, and groups are all welcome, regardless of age, sex, professional background, or nationality. Only designs that have never been shown publicly before in Japan or any other country will be eligible for entry. Entrants must be able to give a presentation at the final judging that is scheduled for March 12, 2022. The awards and prize money will consist of one Grand Prix with a prize of 2 million yen and 3 merit awards with a prize of 500,000 yen. Here's the schedule. The call for entrance will start from Friday, August 20, and the final deadline will be at 12 noon Japan Standard Time on Friday, October 15th. After that, the first round of judging will be held in late November, and the chosen finalists will be notified in late December. The final judging will be held in Tokyo on Saturday, March 12, 2022, and the award ceremony is also scheduled to be held on the same day. Let's talk about what to submit for each round of judging. In the first round, entrants will submit a size A3 portrait layout presentation sheet in PDF or JPEG format. Please check the website for detailed conditions. For the final judging, along with resubmitting their presentation sheets, the entrants will also make a model of their designs. The presentation sheets that are submitted during the first round of judging will be the first step in judging, so we recommend that you submit them in the format that follows the rules. When someone has to look through many documents, the information you want them to see will be conveyed much more clearly if it's correct and in the right place. Here's the basic layout. The title, design, and the type of product go in the upper left corner. The design's concept goes in the upper right corner. Images conveying what the design is about, when and how it's used go into center. And at the bottom, technical drawings of the front, top, and side views with dimensions. On our website, you can also see some other past winners' presentation sheets for the first round of judging. We will have 5 judges. From the left, Mr. Masashi Kawamura, Chief Creative Officer at Creative Studio Whatever. He is involved in a wide range of products, including campaign programs for numerous global brands, image production, and product design. Mr. Tsuyoshi Tane, founder of Atelier Tsuyoshi Tane Architects. He is a French-based architect whose most recent work, the Hirosaki Museum of Contemporary Art, has become a topic of attention. Mr. Teruhiro Yanagihara, a designer engaged in a number of design projects, spatial design, product design, and everything in between, that go beyond the boundaries of countries or fields. He is responsible for the creative direction of this year's key visuals. Mr. Satoshi Yoshizumi, principal and designer at TAG Project. He engages in client-based work and also has done experimental independent research projects that has been featured and noted in Milan Design Week and Design Miami too. And Mr. Hidekuni Kuroda, President and CEO of Kokyo. These are the 5 judges. On our website and social media pages, we provide all the information for entering the Kokyo Design Awards. You can also find introduction to entries that have been turned into products and interviews with the winners on our website. On YouTube, you can also hear from the judges about this year's theme. Make sure to check our Facebook and Twitter accounts where we post information about entering the award. Next, we'll hear from last year's Grand Prix winners from Finland, Mila and Erland.
ミーラ&アーランドさん、こんにちは。それでは早速、質問の方をさせていただきたいと思います。お二人はですね、数年前から国用デザインアワードに関しては、注目いただいていたというふうに審査会の時もお伺いしたんですけれども、そもそもこのデザインアワードに興味を持っていただいた理由というか、応募したきっかけを教えてください。
So, of course, we know about a couple different design awards, and the Kokyo Design Award is one that we have known about for a while and looked into applying because we think the awarded designs have normally been on a very high level, and it seems like the competition is awarding really the fundamentals of good design. It's a simple but very clever idea that's very difficult to have, and it's normally very minimal solutions. And I think we like to consider ourselves minimalists. So if we really want to put that to the test, we could try to apply for the Kokyo Design Award.
Yeah, actually this year it was already second time that we applied, but I don't know if it's to say, like, in a way, thanks to Corona, this time our life kind of was changing a lot and we had a lot of free time. So we could really take the challenge and focus like fully in doing the entry. So in a way, it was also a good time this year because we had a lot of time to do it.
I think also we knew that we thought the level of the Kokyo Design Award was pretty high, so we knew that if we would have any chance to win, we really needed to put in the work, and
yeah, we had to have time to do our best.
Yeah, we knew the idea was good, but we knew that we had to really take it all the way to a fully developed product in order to to go anywhere.
Yeah.
ありがとうございます。で、今回ですね、ポストノーマル、それこそポストノーマルというテーマだったんですけれども、それについてはどういうふうに読み解いていったのでしょうか。
So I think the post-normal theme captured something very important about the pandemic, which is that society changed, a lot of countries closed down, and a lot of things changed, and many people, including us, I guess, are just waiting to get back to, in a way, normal life again. But it's never going to really be the same again. So it's not really a new normal, it's not the old normal, but it's just after normal. And then later we will see what exactly is developed too. And so often, I think in design projects, designers are expected to look at an ordinary object in a new way or find a better way to make it work in a new context. And this time, the whole world had to do that suddenly. You can't commute, you can't travel, even just meeting people, everything had to be seen in the light of the pandemic.
Yeah, also in a way, personally, our life situation was very, in a way, fitting to the theme, because we actually used to work and live in South Korea. And then last year, because of the pandemic, no, not only because of the pandemic, but then we decided to move back to Finland after many years of working abroad. And that whole last year was very out of normal, completely out of normal. And now just like slowly planning how to get back to the new normal. And
so we were also then, in a way, we were going back to our old normal lives in Scandinavia. But of course, we have been changed from being abroad for a while. So we were at the same time going back to our own post-normal situation in Scandinavia for the second time.
Yeah, so I think this theme affected everything we did, not just our design work, but everything we did last year. So it was very fitting.
ありがとうございます。では、そのポストノーマルから今回のこのラエの作品に落とし込んだ経緯というか、そこに行き継いだいきさつを教えてもらえますでしょうか。
So obviously we want to make desktop organizers, and the desktop organizers are there to help you do your work. And so when you are in a new space, it doesn't have to be because of a global pandemic. It can be just, moving to a new place or a new office. And especially in a new space, we wanted to make some, boxes or containers, but we wanted to keep them soft and friendly and inviting. We wanted them to offer you tools. They're more like servants rather than just storage boxes. So that's why they are very open. That's why they are a little flatter and wider. And we really wanted to bring that soft curve into it. So that's why we had to develop a way to fold, to make curved folds at the end, so we could have them with a little more rounder and not so just strict and square shapes. And so we know from previous projects that it's very nice to be able to build your own product. You can assemble it from a building kit or from one piece that you just fold together. It gives you a very good connection to your product. So with these trays, in a way, we wanted to put all of these things together into one product, that it is, of course, neat and practical to be flat folded, but when you yourself assemble it in this folding kind of ritual, and that's something we think you know about from Japan, right? From the origami tradition, that it's not always about the result, it's also about the process of folding it. So we wanted to bring that into whatever new working space you have. In the pandemic, the home office was like the perfect fit for that. If you move to a new office or new space, it can help you to know, build a connection between you and your new space where you have to be creative and productive.
Yeah, and this kind of flat packing design, something that's three-dimensional form, but it folds into flat. It became even more, in a way, important to consider for product designers in the times of pandemic, when the shipping suddenly shipping costs to other countries became really high.
3 times.
So it's also really important to consider the weight, the light, to design something that can be packed small and packed lightly, because of these new challenges in selling products.
Or even produced anywhere.
Yeah.
Paper is something that is normally available.
Yeah, and just generally, it's in this today's world, it's designers almost like our responsibility to choose materials that are, when they are produced, they don't consume so many natural resources, but also when they are disposed, they don't consume so many natural resources. So paper is quite widely available everywhere in the world, and light and good material. And then with this little bit clever mechanism, it can still be made into very sturdy, usable, long-lasting products.
I think during the pandemic, especially living in Asia, we got a taste of what world would be like without all that production and airline traffic. The air quality was superb
during pandemic.
In the spring. And that gave us an extra motivation to really make products that have a less of an impact on the environment.
Less carbon footprint.
We've worked with foldable objects before, and we've made designs that are folded from one piece. So in a way, that was a kind of easy starting point.
Natural starting point for us.
Especially when at that time we were looking always at the simplest solution, and we were living pretty much in cardboard boxes, and we had also been moving, many times before from houses or from offices, and it's always nice to have something that folds flat when you store it and then take it back out. So we wanted that was always a good starting point for us. And then I think from the initial idea till we had a shape kind of worked out was only 1 week, but that is just the very first step.
Actually, then when we prepared the initial pitch for the competition, that was to create the container, the little cardboard box for storing or prettily storing our items. Maybe just about 1 week to come up with the shape and the idea, but then the true challenge actually of our product that we pitched for the competition came after we heard that we are in the finals, because until then we just kind of put it together with tape. And after we heard that we are in the finals, we knew we have to make it perfect. So we knew we should make this to work without the tape, and that was actually really challenging. Maybe hundreds of hand-cut little models and working on the floor, and the whole floor was full of models, and then we try something and it doesn't work.
Because we had just moved to Finland, so we didn't have any furniture and we didn't have all the tools that we needed. We had scissors and a little printer, and then we cut out by hand. And when the design was getting closer to the final part, so we used 3D software to calculate the flat pattern very accurately. And towards the end, when we had our final paper, final sizes, final everything, then we booked a laser cutter to get really high quality cutting and accuracy, so that we could really get it super perfect.
But I just wanted to still emphasize that part of developing the folding mechanism.
It's hard.
And we almost gave up at some point, but then when finally just realized how it kind of locked inside, and then it just solved everything, and it was some kind of eureka moment, and then we knew now it's perfect.
When we found the solution, it seemed so simple. I didn't understand almost how we didn't find it before, but that felt really nice.
Simple is always most difficult.
That was very much about the technical parts of it. Would you maybe want to hear also more about the overall idea and concept as well? Right. So those presentation sheets are very simple. They're just one big sheet. So we thought it was very important that we have one picture that captures the size, shape, and functionality of the product so that you can look at it and immediately understand what it is and how it should be used. Like it should be like fraction of a second.
Yeah, and so in our picture, we wanted to have just one as big as possible, almost very impactful picture where we introduce all the things that Alan said. So we placed several of our products so that you can see the different colors, a little bit of the different shapes. Then we placed some items in them to immediately give the viewer to understand what's the purpose of it. So it's a holder for your stationery, and then we have a hand, in a way, one action included in the picture where the hand is picking up the pen. So then with that hand we also can show the size. You can also see the size of the
size and function.
So most for us, definitely most effort we put was in planning one main image, that it would have all this message through from one picture.
And so at the bottom, we had little drawings of the trays, and we had one picture where we have one folded tray next to one unfolded to really show that it's only one piece. So first, the big picture draws you in, tells you the main story, and then the little details, when you look closer, will tell you the details, how it's made. And I think it was quite effective.
Yeah, so there's kind of, first you see the big picture, then you go down left in a way to see, wow, wait, this item is actually folded from one piece of paper. And then you get a little interested in, wow, how did they do it? Then you move your eyes to the right, and then you see our flat patterns. So that was very efficiently told the whole story of at least the technical part of the product. And then there's a little text for to introduce more of the emotional part that doesn't always come through fully with the images.
Because I think the presentation sheet represents the initial judging process, because they're going to have to go through thousands. I think we had 1,401 entries. If they're not immediately interested in yours,
they will move to the next.
Move to the next one.
ありがとうございます。この受賞を受けて、周りの反響も含めて、どういったご自身の中でも周りからの反響も含めてどういった影響があったのかっていうところと、それを受けてご自身が今後のキャリアについてどう考えているのかっていうところを教えてください。
I think the first one is a little hard to answer because the world is now moving very slowly and in a very different way from before. And we are in a new context. So everything is new to us at the moment. And it's hard to say what is new because of the Kokio Design Award and what is new just because we are in Europe again after all these years. But I think for us personally, winning the award early this year gave us a morale boost for the whole year, because last year we planned to move and then we couldn't because of the pandemic, and then everything just took so much time and just waiting and being at home and whatnot. And then this was a huge, in a way, energy boost that we can still do good things, and this year will,
be better.
This year will be better. We have things to do. If you do something that's good and people recognize it, it always feels great. And then I think for us, the biggest part is always the actual commercialization. So we are very excited to see how the product will do on the market. That's always, I think, the best part.
And then about the Kokio Design Award, winning Kokio Design Award particularly, actually, like our friends back in Korea or friends in Japan were excited about it because it's a very famous competition in Asia. But actually in Finland, almost nobody knows about it. We did some interview in the local magazine, but nothing very big. unfortunately.
But I think for us, it's kind of up to us also to emphasize it. So when meeting, potential new employers here and everything, they're very excited to see that we actually are able to take home design awards in other
Very
parts
high level, yeah.
in other parts of the world as well. Especially that we were able to win a design award in Japan with a product that is folded from paper. So
yeah, I think that's
for that angle was easier to in a way impress our European friends and peers.
Yeah, Japan is the most famous country in the world for paper folding, origami, and then somehow we managed to make so impactful paper folding object that we actually win. That also felt really, how to say, big reward to us, that feeling.
We were initially thinking that, are we stupid? We are entering a Japanese competition
with
and
paper.
we're folding paper. But then when we actually won and the judges' feedback was, very professional, and they really saw the amount of work we had put into the product, it was really touching and motivating for us, I think, to get that feedback and to get that award, of course.
よかったです。ありがとうございます。では最後にですね、ミイラさんとアーランドさんそれぞれから今回応募を考えている方へのメッセージをお願いできればと思います。
First of all, you should really love what you do. You should love your idea. You should love the process. You should love you should love you should love your work. You can say better.
When we saw our trace, when we saw it, we knew the design was good. We knew the idea was good, but that was just the first step. You had to actually make it good to convince everyone around you, everyone who sees it, that it is good. And then you really have to love what you do so that you really put your heart and soul into it. Everyone will see that from the final product, that is made by someone who really, really cares. So especially because you will be working so hard, you have to choose an idea that you really, really love and that you believe in.
Yeah, so we wish you enjoy and have fun and love what you do.
ありがとうございます。ミーランド・アーランドさん、インタビューありがとうございました。
Thank you.
長い時間ご覧いただきましてありがとうございました。皆さんのご応募を心よりお待ちしております。